All right, so the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which caught fire at Logan International earlier in January in Boston, is still grounded. Across the globe, 50 are in service of the 830 that have been sold so far. They can't quite figure out why. They thought it was the batteries, some type of batteries. It doesn't seem to be. There's a lot of question about the credibility of Boeing at this point, because the Dreamliner was built, not only technologically is it different, it's got a lot of different materials than other airplanes, but it was built in a different fashion than planes in the past. According to, I think this is the Guardian UK, there's a limit, there's a lesson here for the limits of outsourcing and the all too cozy relationships between regulators and the regulated. The eventual cost of this plane's development will be at $32 billion, according to the Seattle Times. Don't worry about the phone, Michael. Just let it go. We'll pick it up. Boeing's decision to massively increase the percentage of parts it sourced from outside its contractors is one of the hallmarks of the production of this plane. The wingtips were made in Korea, the cabin lighting in Germany, the cargo doors in Sweden, escape slides in New Jersey, landing gear in France. The plan backfired. You know they've had problems dealing with the fact that they're unionized. Outsourcing the parts led to 3 years of delays. Parts didn't fit together properly. Instead of making them with union workers in Seattle, they wanted to bypass those costs. Again, more of the short-term thinking by corporations, which of course enhances their short-term stock values, which of course enhances the value of the board of directors and the executives' stock options, which enrich them as a cottage industry, but does nothing for the health of the corporation long term. Bill Dugwich, communications director at SPIA, the Professional Aerospace Union, said his members had first voiced their concerns in 2002 about what was going to happen with this outsourcing. Outsourcing in general lengthens supply lines, creates problems with language and culture, and is extremely hard to coordinate. You have seen a plethora of problems at Boeing, things getting outsourced when they come back to Boeing to get fixed. Consultant and former airline executive Robert Mann said Boeing's clout put pressure on the Federal Aviation Authority to speedily approve the Dreamliner despite its radical design and manufacturing process. Now, I know libertarians feel there's no reason to have an FAA. I believe there's no reason to have one that is ineffectual and weak relative to corporate power. Now, presumably, under a libertarian paradise, the Dreamliner crashes eventually, and then somebody gets sued when all these people die, and then I don't know what is supposed to happen. In this instance, at least regulators were able to ground this thing before something horribly tragic happened. Mann said the FAA's mandate changed under the administration of Marion Blakely, appointed by President George W. Bush in 2008 as Boeing was working on the Dreamliner. Blakely saw the FAA as a customer service organization. The FAA was working with the airlines to cut regulation, not to impose it. This is the libertarian utopia, right? No unions and no regulation to get into the way of progress. And this is what you get. This is what you get when you impose these lax regulatory infrastructure and you outsource. You save a little money, you enrich yourself as an executive, And then you've got this huge boondoggle on your hands.